What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant back with another one. Hold on, let me hit the T. Getting the voice back. We're getting back to work. How y'all doing today? Let's get into the intro. Shout out to the BCE, the SE, my boy Mello. That's the president. Shout out to my boy Jeezy. That's the manager. Shout out to my cousin Hawk. Been supporting since day one. I love you, baby. I appreciate that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Now, we've all seen the destroying, I hate to even say it like that, but we all witnessed the destruction of Errol Spence the other night, Saturday night, with him and Terrence Crawford battling for undisputed welterweight championship title. And it was a classic performance from Bud. Definitely, Bud made me a believer. I don't know if y'all seen my coverage of that, of the fight, but please go check that video out. But definitely, Bud made me a believer. I was doubting Bud. I didn't think Bud had a chance, but he definitely showed us that there was levels to this. What I definitely noticed is that Bud Crawford is a master, Mayweather level IQ of the game. I think that I used to say that Bud Crawford only faced tomato cans. Guys that they weren't the best version of themselves on the days that Bud faced them. I think it's more so to do that. Yeah, those guys were formidable opponents. They were the same guy that Errol Spence faced. The only difference was that Terrence Bud Crawford was levels above those dudes. You know what I'm saying? And even those dudes gave Terrence Crawford more competition than Errol Spence did. So we just got to call it what it is. I think that a lot of the people in the boxing community badly assessed this fight just because Terrence Crawford is a next level fighter, and we just didn't appreciate his skills until this fight. Nonetheless, it's already been said that the rematch will be more than likely at 154, and that Errol's petitioning to get the fight in December. I just was going to give my commentary as far as that goes. Do I think that Errol Spence should fight in December? Honestly, I've listened to a few people give their opinions about this, and I think that Errol Spence is a warrior's warrior. Errol Spence is your favorite warrior's favorite warrior kind of guy. And honestly, my boy Marlo knows basketball and boxing, covered this fight perfectly. Excuse me. I want to give shout out to him, and shout out to his coverage of the fight, because, like I said, he covered it perfectly. And he said in his video that you would have had to kill Errol Spence. Errol Spence was going to keep getting up and keep coming at Terrence Bud Crawford, no matter how badly he was getting beat or how badly he was losing, especially on the card. If Errol Spence would have got knocked down for 7 rounds straight, he would have got up and kept fighting 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what I'm saying? That's just the kind of warrior and kind of Terminator he is. And that being said, I think that Errol Spence shouldn't take the rematch in December, but I also want to shoot him some bail and give him his flowers in this regard. That we have seen some of the best fighters, get knocked down and come back. Especially like the Manny Pacquiao's of the world. My boy Marlo said Manny Pacquiao used to get knocked out ice cold in the beginning of his career. So the Manny Pacquiao that began his boxing legacy, he ended it totally different than how it began. So even with those kind of fighters, even with the fighters that take losses or whatever, it's not necessarily how you take it's not necessarily the loss, it's how you take your loss. And I feel like if Errol Spence is being real about getting this rematch in December, then, like I say, he has to change up some things. Let's get that out the way. Errol Spence cannot go into this ring even with a tittle of the same frame of mind that he had going into this last fight. I think that Errol Spence, I'm not assuming, I'm not saying what's in the man's head or nothing like that, but I just thought how it looked on the screen was that he was so accustomed to just being a pressure cooker, just going up in there and beating dudes and outproducing them and all that kind of stuff, that he thought that he was going to be able to just do that with Terrence Crawford. And that was his plan A. And once he seen that his plan A wasn't working, he started trying to go to his plan B, which I feel like was, trying to be more of a, lower level, hit, kind of beat Terrence Crawford more on all three levels than versus just, starting with the high jab, come in with the left hook. We all know how Errol works. Instead of doing the same thing like that, I thought he was going to try to go more so for, two levels, go at the body a lot more than use the body punch to come in with that left hook. Just from what I'm looking at. Excuse me. He's going to have to come in with a new plan A and also have a plan B just in case. Now, that's granted. Terrence Crawford could come to 154 if they had the rematch at 154. I mean, it's more than likely what the reports are saying. They had this rematch at 154. Terrence Crawford could get to 154 and be a totally different fighter. Excuse me. Than he was at 147. Let's just call it what it was as well. So Errol can catch him on that as well. I think that people are just really discounting, the heart of Errol Spence. And a lot of Terrence Bud Crawford fans, they are the ones that, let's give them their flowers. They having their day right now. And I'm glad I wasn't a complete, I've seen Errol Spence. I'm an Errol Spence fan, but I've seen Errol Spence fans just as crazy as the Terrence Bud Crawford faithful. You know what I mean? Like, they go all out for Errol, and I respect that. I have more so of a respect for Errol because he was the fighter that I started watching when I got back into boxing. I thought he was a very interesting boxer. I thought his journey was, one that I could follow, one that I was enjoying following, and all that kind of stuff. But I think that people are really discounting his heart in this situation. Errol Spence is a man's man as well. You know what I mean? He ain't going out like no punk. He ain't making no excuses. Something that I've always appreciated about him as well. The reports that Stephen A. are putting out there talking about he should retire, man. Stephen A. is such a troll. He saw it. This is where Stephen A. gets annoying because sometimes Stephen A. is we all know he's a company man. I hate to keep saying it like this, but Stephen A. is your company's man's company man. He's your favorite company's man, favorite company man. Like, that man goes all out for the company, ESPN especially. So, you talking about Errol Spence should retire and all this kind of craziness. It's like, bro, get out of here. This is what separates the professional athlete from the average person. These guys are wired differently, especially boxers. You know what I mean? Boxers are wired more different than even like NFL dudes. You know what I mean? Like, the dudes that you would assume are the toughest of the toughest. Boxers it's a lonely sport. You know what I mean? All they got to depend on is all they live for is their glory per se. They'll fight for the money, of course, but every boxer that I followed that was one of the greats was in it for the glory just as much as they was in it for the check. And that's what Errol Spence comes off to me as, a kind of guy like that. So, he definitely can come back. He can definitely do his thing. And he could definitely win the rematch because we've seen some greats do it. And I think it's very possible. And everybody that's kind of down Errol Spence, like I say, it's easy to doubt somebody when they lost. It's so easy to turn, your back on them and be like, it's impossible. He can't do nothing with them. But history says differently. Like, we've seen, especially these prize fighters, man. These dudes are, like I say, wired differently. We've seen them take losses, some of the worst losses, and come back and destroy the same guy that destroyed them. You know what I mean? That's the beauty in boxing. That's why we call it the sweet science. Because even if you have a bad day in the office, you can always come back and, and show a better product. Boxing is just, one of those things where the better guy is going to win on that day. You know what I mean? And it's not, you could have been the better guy yesterday if you would have caught him. You could be the better guy tomorrow if you would have caught him. But today, he was the better guy. And I'm not trying to take nothing from Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford, like I said, he surprised me. He made me a believer. I'm over here watching Terrence Bud Crawford versus Mean Machine. And I'm like, man, this dude is different. I've seen this fight 10, 11 times, and I'm watching it now, and I'm just noticing that Terrence Bud Crawford is a technician. He's a technician, man. And I think that me and my kid brother, V-Dub, we was having a little talk about it, and my little bro, he still believes that Mayweather, he's a Mayweather man, so I understand. But after this last fight, I just say that Terrence Bud Crawford has something that Mayweather didn't have as far as the offensive game. You know what I mean? Just as far as that slowing the game down, technician, definitely on the switch hitting. I think that Terrence Bud Crawford is levels above Floyd Mayweather offensively. Although I would also say that Floyd Mayweather is a level or two above, but on the defense. But that's just another conversation for another day. I ain't trying to do all that. I just wanted to give a shout out to Errol, Spence, and Bud Crawford, giving my boy his flowers. It was a great fight. Anyway, y'all like, subscribe, comment, share. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I drop content on this channel. Salute, y'all be blessed.